Let's get started. So last time we finished on peering, अपने quiz और exam से पहले. Now we're going into the next part of connectivity, which is the VPN. This is like the standard thing that is done 100 out of 100 times in cloud deployment. It's pretty straightforward. They have made it very painless, and we'll go over how to do that. Right? What are the requirements? और ये आपकी quiz number 2 के अंदर भी sorry PA2 will be released probably today or tomorrow. Will be part of that, right? PA2 के लिए मैं आपको दूंगा separate VNet addresses for each and every person. You will create your own VPN gateway to make the connectivity. Okay, so you will demonstrate the VPN connection from your network to the network that is already there. मैं आपको VPN gateway दूंगा already बना हुआ. आपने अपने VPN gateways, you will simulate basic connectivity on premises and from anywhere else, right? To organizations connectivity, and you will invoke, for example, मैं web server बना दूंगा curl करके you can open the web page from your environment to see you can reach the resources over there. और दो चार और scenarios में दूंगा थोड़े से ज़्यादा complex. So you will be setting up all of that. You will also set up the private endpoint. मैंने आपसे quiz के अंदर भी सवाल पूछा था for the storage, and you do private networking as well. So it'll be a little bit involved. Don't leave it out at the last minute, okay? I'll probably release it tomorrow. Make sure you get started early on. Please, please don't leave it at the last moment. There are a lot of moving parts in this one, and it'll keep on getting involved, okay? So private endpoints होंगे, VPN connectivity होगी. I want you guys to get deep down with this one, okay? It's not complicated, but it'll take you guys time to do that, yeah? And to understand and put all the pieces together. ईद से पहले. The plan of action is basically मैंने आपको कहा था मैं last week I will not be available. So next week, next 2 days, next week I will not be here. So इस हफ्ते until Saturday, Sunday, I will do 2 or 3 extra classes. ये हमारी 2 classes तो होंगी इस हफ्ते की. I'll do 2-3 online lectures, right? I want to cover basically DNS, which you will need to do in your programming assignment. You will need to do VPN, private endpoints. ये मैं आपको सारे करके भी दिखाऊंगा. ऑनलाइन डेमोज में आपको करके दिखाऊंगा सारे, ठीक है? और ये 3-4 critical parts हैं which are part of your PA. So next week we will not have classes. I'll do 2 or 3 extra lectures this week by Sunday or Monday, hopefully by Sunday, right? Then your assignment will due on the 13th. I think 13th or 14th, which is 13th is Sunday, next Sunday, right? Eid wala jo hafta basically, right? And 14th, which is Monday, will be your quiz 2. So Eid se pehle aapki PA2 will be due, or Eid se pehle aapki second quiz will be done as well, right? So this is the plan of action basically for both classes, MLOps and this one as well. What are the steps? These are high-level steps. We'll take a look at each one of them. When you create a VPN gateway, there is nothing much, but it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to create a VPN gateway. You cannot shut it down. You have to delete it if you want to stop the billing, okay? So a lot of you guys will be creating, 60, 70 of you will be creating VPN gateways. Make sure I'll set the policy so you cannot create a big one, but it is not a cheap resource. I think the basic one is like $40, $50 a month, right? Again, you do it for 2-3 weeks. It's not too much. It's manageable, right? But again, just don't make big one. I'll set the policy anyway. So let's go step by step through these things, okay? So a lot of time, this is your architecture, right, in Azure. आपके VNets हैं, spokes where you have application databases, then your central hub, and that hub is talking to, is doing VPN, whether it's point to site or site to site. Okay? Point to site is what? Individual connecting to data center. जिस तरह we have VPN clients, अपनी काम के ऊपर, job के ऊपर create the connection. That is point to site VPN. Site to site is permanent connection between 2 sites. between two data centers, so they can seamlessly talk to each other, exchange data, and use the services, right? So again, VNet to VNet, ये मैंने आपसे again very simple thing I have rehashed many times is always peering. What was the one case where you don't do VNet peering between two Azure VNets? Yes. The third party, वो कहते हैं yes, we are on Azure, but you cannot do peering with us, right? You must do or you can only connect with VPN, right? So they will set a VPN, and you have to do a VPN with them, right? But they will not allow open peering, straight peering with you. Point to site individuals to Azure virtual, and generally, I mean, point to site is a common term. जो हम भी अपने VPN clients लेके जो individual हमारे VPN clients होते हैं, we connect to any data center, right? जो people use also over here, for example, to bypass something, that is also a point to site connectivity. कोई ऐसी special चीज नहीं हो रही, उनके पास VPN server, you're connecting, right? It's simply you're using that VPN connection to go out from there, right? जो मैंने आपको last time explain किया था. So to start creating the VPN, मैंने आपको बताया था VPN gateway must sit in its own subnet. ठीक है? There is a gateway subnet. और ये मैंने बताया था आपको जब when you create a VPN, just to rehash, okay, I'll show you this one. You tell the purpose of the subnet to be gateway, right? So for example, अगर मेरा ये बना हुआ है okay, let me use a different subscription. If I use VNet, let me see. I'll just create one. इसके बाद शुरू में option आ जाएगी, so we don't have to go and create everything, right? So when I'm creating a VPN and I'm going to IP addressing, when I add a subnet, it asks me what is the purpose, and you must pick, for example, that I'm doing it for virtual network gateway. तो क्या करेगा जो सबनेट का नाम है ना, it will pick automatically, it will hard code, and it will not allow you to change. There are multiple devices on the cloud where when you pick them, they require a very specific name for the subnet. So for example, we'll do this later on when deploy Azure Firewall. It will create the subnet name to be Azure Firewall subnet, right? Bastion ka Azure Bastion subnet, right? For the VNet gateway, gateway subnet. So the special appliances you have or special services, they need a subnet, and they will ask you to pick the purpose. So it will automatically check the name, set the name. Okay. इसके अंदर you can also do, for example, Azure recommended VPN gateway size. Okay. You can do this query on any search engine. It'll tell you that this is the recommended /27. Okay. The recommended size, जो है ना, कि documentation में लिखा होता है, you can go and search it also. It's easier way, easy to just do this one, right? So lot of time the customer के साथ करते हुए I do the same thing. I showed them the same thing also कि आप जाके query कर लें what is the recommended size. It's in documentation. हर service के लिए they have mentioned that what is the recommended minimum size for the gateway, right? तो नाम तो बता देते हैं आपको size नहीं बताता. For example, when you go over here, यहाँ पे, so I can pick, for example, /27, right? Federal addresses. Gateway जो है, actually when you're creating a gateway, it creates multiple appliances or multiple VMs, right? With multiple network addresses and all that. So it tells you, okay, if you want to change tomorrow or something or whatever, please make it big enough, right? Because later on it gets very difficult or impossible to change these things. Okay. तो सबसे पहले आपने subnet setup करना है, right? Then you create the VPN gateway. इसका भी मैंने आपको बताया था, when you create a VPN gateway. So I can do, let me just create the this one. I can say, for example, VNet. I need to switch my, actually, this one, subscription. Sorry, ये इसमें इसमें multiple accounts से login होता हूँ, so sometimes causes this problem. ये by the way, if you guys don't know, or you might know already, इसके अंदर बड़ा ज़बरदस्त feature है containers का, right? And it allows you to have different tab with a different account. So it's in lifesaver. किसी और browser के पास नहीं है ये वाली information, ये वाला extension. इसके अंदर आ गया? Is it? अच्छा मैं देखता हूँ उसको, अगर वो फिर उसके अंदर एज के अंदर भी होगा फिर डेफिनेटली. नहीं अभी मैंने कुछ नहीं रखा, मैं करने लगूँ अभी उसको. वो मैं दरमियान में छोड़ दिया था उसको बिकॉज उसमें रीजन इज आई विल गिव यू द रीजन्स ताकि वी कैन डिवाइड, क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा कंप्यूट विल बी क्रिएटेड फॉर दिस पीए. आपकी वीएम भी बननी है और आपकी वो भी बनना है वीनेट भी, उसका वीपीएन गेटवे भी बनना है, राइट? So I'll divide the regions in three different groups, okay? So pick specific region. So we don't get into the quota issues some of you guys got into last time. So I'll go into, for example, RG, I think this is mine. Yes, Mera. Last time I think I tried to create a VPN gateway, but let me just do that. जी ये मेरा अपना रिसोर्स, I'm just showing you, मेरा अपना रिसोर्स ग्रुप है. ये आप खुद बनाओगे अपने रिसोर्स ग्रुप के अंदर. ये लास्ट टाइम मैंने आपको VPN गेटवे बना के दिखाया था. मैं आपसे स्टेप्स I'll go over them again. Just to इसमें steps are pretty straightforward. There is really nothing much. I can go and say VPN gateway. और इसके अंदर मैंने बताया था you need to pick the size. This is the important part when you're creating a VPN gateway. I'll create. और इसके अंदर for example, if I pick my virtual network, right, I can say VNet my resource group. I need to pick the resource group region, and where's the resource group? Resource group. हाँ, अब वो कह रहे हैं कि आपने जो the region of the VNet must be same as this thing, okay? So कह रहे हैं आप VNet pick करो आपका अपना. I'll put it RG. Let me just put RGCS. Sorry, VNet CS. Okay. So I pick this one. वो कह रहा है आपने गेटवे ऑलरेडी बनाया हुआ है इसके ऊपर, राइट? and this was the this thing, okay? But the important part is there's only couple of things that you need to pick, right? Which is, for example, आपने जो pick करना है इसमें size pick करना है, right? And you'll be picking just the basic one, okay? Just use the basic for you guys. Okay? मैं अपनी तरफ से set करूँगा maybe 3 or 4, because the example will be that you will connect, all of you guys will connect to my VPN gateway, right? And simulate the connection. वो मैं कुछ scenario दूँगा आपको उसके अंदर, ठीक है? So all you have to do is pick the this one. You can use the basic one, and then all you do is, for example, create the IP address. Okay. Size ये होता है कि underneath of all these appliances there is a size. Size means आपने उसने आपकी जो SKUs हैं आपके, मैं भी दिखाता हूँ आपको how many connections it can handle, how much traffic it can handle. Underneath वो throttle करेगा आपकी bandwidth को, और जो appliance बन रही है आपकी उसके ऊपर आपको cores देगा, memory देगा. तो industry के अंदर क्या होता है कि industry कहती है कि if you go to Cisco, Juniper and all that, वो कहते हैं कि आपने SKU कौन सा लेना है, size. उसमें small, medium, large होता है, and they become very very expensive, right? So इसके अंदर you can just change the size any given time, big and small and whatever, right? You can do those kind of things. Now this is what the size is. Basic के अंदर, of course, the bigger the VM underneath, the cost will be much higher, right? Of course, आपको bandwidth मिल रही है, connections मिल रहे हैं, and all that. So अभी मैं दिखाऊंगा आपको slide के ऊपर आएगा to show you what are the different sizes and what it allows. Okay. So again, we did this last time, but you will just, all you have to do is pick your VNet and pick, or you cannot have two VPN gateways on a single VNet. Okay. So when you have a VNet, it will automatically sets up the routing, so you cannot create another one, right? And you will disable this active, okay? ये वरना दोनों nodes is a highly available service, so it creates multiple nodes underneath, so it gives you high availability. Please disable it, okay? Configure BGP, हमको दिखाया था last time, we disable all of this, okay? Please use the basic setting, and all you have to do is pick the generation, pick your region, or अपनी generation. Virtual network is a critical one, right? अभी मैं आपको कर दूंगा, I will take off your read access from the whole subscription, so you'll see only your stuff. Nothing else will be visible. It will be much easier to work with. Right now, everything else shows up for everyone, okay? I'll remove that access for you guys. So, यहाँ पे important चीज is only your VNet and the size, and you pick the name and all that. वो automatically वो gateway subnet ले लेगा अगर आपने बनाया हुआ है. Always make the gateway subnet first, so you can divide and create the, carve out the specific range as a first step, okay? So once you do that, you will have your VPN gateway, okay? It'll take about 30 to 45 minutes, and then it will be there, okay? I'll go back into my resource group. Sorry. And these are my resources, right? As part of creating a VPN gateway, इसने resources बनाए हैं. And this is what it is, right? VNet gateway. यहाँ आपको different चीजें दे रहा होता है, different information shows you, tells you how much data is coming from the tunnel and all those kind of things, right? Because there are no tunnels, there is no data coming. If you look at the configuration, you can change the size, you can upgrade, downgrade, various different things, okay? You can pick the different one, right? I cannot go to basic. Basic से ऊपर आ सकते हो, ऊपर से नीचे नहीं जा सकते आप, okay? और इसके बाद private IPs disable किए हैं. I can disable the active mode as well. You don't need to worry about the autonomous ASN number. This is part of the BGP. Maybe we'll look at it later on. Okay? I don't want to save anything right now. It'll take some time. Okay? यहाँ पे there are no connections. Okay? Point to site. Again, there is no configuration for point to site. Also, I can do point to site configuration as well. So it can handle individual connections, and there'll be a very nice thing to do as well. But right now, no need to do that. Okay? So VPN gateway बनाते वक्त there is nothing else. आपका VNet चाहिए उसको, आपको VNet gateway चाहिए subnet, and then you pick the SKU. But then come the next part, how you start creating the VPN. So this was the gateway subnet. You start off with this one. You create the VPN gateway, and then you create what we call a local network gateway. Okay. Local network gateway is an object to store information from the other side. तो आपने कनेक्शन करना है. When you create a connection, it says उसको IP address चाहिए दूसरी साइड का, उसकी address space चाहिए दूसरी साइड की. So what happens is to create all that information and to contain in a single object, it creates what we call a local network gateway. So let's see how we do that. So is simply a container, right? So if I go back over, sorry. Yeah, over here. And this is where I am. अब मैंने VPN connection करना है. So what I will do is, very first thing is, I will create a local network gateway. Local network gateway. It is nothing but an object to hold information from the other side. That's all it is. Okay. What do you mean by hold information from the other side? जिसका मैं connection करना है. मैंने connection करना है. सबसे पहले मैंने कहना है, for example, I can say local gateway, let's say LUMS. So I'm saying this object will hold the connectivity information from the VNet gateway or the unki appliance at LUMS. Then IP address, let's say whatever the public IP is, मैंने कहा था public IP address चाहिए. 10 dot, for example, let's say 20.10.10.241, for example, some public IP. It could be an FQDN also, fully qualified domain name, vpn.lums.edu.pk, if they have registered that with their IP. And then the address space, 10.192.168.0/24. Right? LUMS network of the remote network. Okay. तो इसके अंदर जो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है in the local network gateway, it is for the remote network. So when I say local network gateway, this is a local to you. Cloud तो वहाँ पे है ना, उसका VPN gateway बनाया. When I say local means where you're connecting to, right? Your local network gateway, and it can be in AWS, in GCP, whatever, right? Information is straightforward, right? What is the IP address that you're going to connect to? What is the address space? Address space क्यों चाहिए? So it can route the traffic to that address space. कि जो when you जब इससे connect करेगा ना, वो कहेगा इसकी address space है. That means all the traffic going to 10 it should be 192.168 जो उसकी range होती है usually. Let me just fix that. होने को ये भी हो सकता है. It's not an issue. It's 192.168. 1.0. ठीक है. ये मैं आप सबको for PA2 आपको अपना VNet एड्रेस स्पेस दूंगा, right? 192.168, 2, 3, 4, whatever, 70, 80/24. You all going to have unique, because when you're going to create the connection with my VPN gateway, you all need to have unique addresses, right? ताकि उसको पता हो कि 192.168.1.0 की ट्रैफिक इनके नेटवर्क की है, 2.0/24 इनकी, 3, 4, 5, right? And I'll have my own unique address space as well. तो मैं शीट बना के आप सबको वो दूंगा आपकी एड्रेस स्पेसेस, and I will give you, for example, my information as well, my public IP and my address space also. Okay, so you can create the VPN connection, because everything has to be unique. You cannot have overlapping and already used address spaces. You must have common, right? So it can do the routing properly. Nobody should be matching, right? So जब हम कंपनी से भी करते हैं, उनका network, it must be, for example, unique, that we can do the routing properly, right? So this is local network gateway, right? And all it does is to hold the information. No BGP, nothing needed. Again, just a container, just an object that holds the remote information, connectivity information. The routing and connectivity, that's all it is. Okay. Yeah. जब हम किसी में कनेक्शन करते हैं ना, we ask them, हमें अपने VPN का एड्रेस स्पेस दें. Suppose we ask दूसरी पार्टी से, फिर दूसरी पार्टी से कहते हैं, I need the address space that I can send the traffic to. और वो अपना पूरे नेटवर्क में से सिर्फ छोटी सी इंफॉर्मेशन देते हैं कि आप आपकी तरफ से ट्रैफिक कैन कम ओनली टू दीज सर्वर्स. वो अपना कुछ सबनेट लेके ना उसके ऊपर अलाउ करते हैं सिर्फ ट्रैफिक. They don't open the full network, right? हाँ. Local network gateway is for me to know about LUMS network. Look at it from Azure. Azure से बैठ के मैं देख रहा हूँ what is the local network information, right? We are doing stuff in Azure. Azure से we are looking at what is the local information, what is the IP address of the local network gateway, and what is the address space that I can send the traffic to. This is what it is, right? Think from Azure perspective. Okay, if I'm making a connection to LUMS or to anybody or to Azure, I'm looking from Azure to say what is that information. That is what is enclosed in the local network gateway. वो क्या करेगा when we say, जब वो कहेगा कि आपके पास ये एड्रेस स्पेस है that you can put, ठीक है, उससे क्या होगा, when मेरा नेटवर्क गेटवे will see that, उसने कहा I will add the routes to send only this traffic to that, right? आपको किसकी बात है? आपको किसी की स्टोरेज का हो सकता है? Doesn't matter. For that we are not concerned. हो सकता है वर्चुअल मशीन्स हो, सिस्टम हो, SAP हो, Oracle हो, कोई सिस्टम हो, whatever. वो बात की बात है. क्यों बात की बात है? क्योंकि अभी हमें सिर्फ ट्रैफिक राउट करनी है. वो क्या सिस्टम है वहां के, we are not concerned right now, right? From an administrative perspective, they have decided कि इन systems ने इनके साथ काम करना है. They are sitting in which subnet? Just share that information to the Azure administrator or the networking administrator. वो हम आएंगे उसकी तरफ कि what is there, right? But the point is, हमें ये पता होता है कि Azure ने जो डील करना है जिन सिस्टम के साथ, they are enclosed in this address space. They could be in the whole address space and they can open the whole thing, but then they give you a subset. आप किसी और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में VPN कर रहे हैं, they will not open their whole address space to you. वो कहेंगे आपके ये servers हैं that your system needs to talk to pick up the data, to talk to the database, to read something, and they have this IP addresses will only give you a very small address space to talk to send the traffic to, right? And you can say even sometimes one IP address /32. /32 is single IP address. Whole thing is masked. You cannot change. So you give the specific IP address, right? That is a /32. That happens also. कि एक ही सिस्टम के साथ अपने बात करनी है, right?
So to connect multiple organizations, तो हमें multiple local network gateways बनाने पड़ेंगे.
Absolutely, right? तो जितना हम बनाएंगे, जिस तरह आप लोग बनाओगे, and I will create also, right? I will create your gateway information, and I will give you actually what I will do is कि मैं आपको अपनी साइड के ऊपर दूंगा that you can create local network gateway, right? And you can create the connection, right? Or once you are done, you will give me the template or the commands to create a gateway with your information. वो मैं run करूंगा, अपनी gateway बनाऊंगा अपनी तरफ, right? For all of you guys. So right now, all I've done is मेरा VPN gateway है and the container or the object or the Azure resource that holds your information. Now I need to make the connection. Yeah. ये मेरा local network gateway बन गया. और ना आप देखो local gateway and the organization. or the system, whatever, right? And now, for example, they need to do something very similar on premises, right? जिस तरह मैं अपनी तरफ configuration कर रहा हूँ to hold that information, they need to configure their device to hold Azure information as well, right? So they will ask me, what is the Azure IP address, public IP, and what is the address space? I provide same 2-3 things to them as well on premises. So both parties exchange information. हमारी configuration क्या है? हमारी configuration is enclosed in the local network gateway that contains all the remote information. And when we give it to them, they will configure that. Lot of time what companies do is they give you a questionnaire and they have specific things. Please filter, please fill in this. Your IP address, your address space, and multiple other things, right? And then you create the connection. How? You have this and exchange this information. How the connection happens, right? Now VPN is encrypted traffic, all of it. Some encryption needs to happen, right? And they have different encryption parameters. So let's see what happens. So when we do this, now we go back into our this one. I'll go into my मेरे पास local network gateway है, मेरे पास VPN gateway. I'll go into my VPN gateway again. Connections. And now I'll say add. VNet to VNet. This one, region. That's fine. Next.
So VNet to VNet means within Azure, right?
Oh, sorry. You're right. So it's not a VNet to VNet. It'll be site to site. Right. Site to site VPN. Okay. Yeah, VNet to VNet is that thing. Okay. Now, क्या कह रहे हैं? कह रहे virtual network gateway pick करो अपना. VNet gateway is this is mine. This is mine. ठीक है? और local network gateway अभी मैंने बनाया, right? I'm initiating the connection. I'm creating my first tunnel. तो मैंने अपना gateway select किया. मैंने local network, मैं किसके साथ connection करने लगा, right? मैंने वो दिया. Now it says shared key. For VPN connectivity, shared key is one of the most common way to create the connection. वो आपको key दे देंगे या आप दोगे कि ये key we will use both to establish the connection, to encrypt the information. Okay. Pre-shared key. The both parties have previously shared this key among themselves. Okay. So this is what pre-shared key is. Okay. Nothing special. You can make 10, 12, whatever characters, right? People sometimes make very long pre-shared key. Nothing special. So you put this pre-shared key. Protocol, we use IKv2. So VPN has different protocols, right? So if you look at it, for example, I have Surfshark. Over here, let me see in the setting somewhere. I want to show you the protocol part. Protocol, okay, automatic. And you can see over here, okay, automatic. WireGuard is one of the latest ones. It used very heavily. It is from the way currently हमारा भी open VPN protocol चलता है, I think. WireGuard is the latest one, and it is much more secure. I wouldn't say much more secure. It's much lightweight than the previous one, right? So they have done the legacy VPN protocol lot of improvements over that one, right? So WireGuard is there, and but generally companies just do a standard VPN connection. Okay, they don't use WireGuard. तो यहाँ पे you leave generally everything as is. But lot of time they can say we want to control the parameters. There are 6 parameters, okay? I don't want to go too much detail into this one. Okay? Uh, it has multiple phases, okay? like phase 1 and phase 2. The parameters must match, okay? All of them. But Microsoft has made it very, very simple. You can leave the default, especially for Azure VPN to VPN. अगर आप नॉन एजूर भी कर रहे हैं, it will automatically say कि कौन सा प्रोटोकॉल इस्तेमाल हो रहा है. It will switch automatically. Yeah? It's very rare कि आपका इनकी वजह से something will tunnel will not come up. But tunnel will not establish unless everything matches. Key and all these 6 protocols, they must match. Must match. Okay? We don't usually touch them, but customer can say this is against our policy. So lot of time, for example, encryption. Now I've had customers जो कहते हैं हमें 512 चाहिए. उनके on premises जो है appliances, they can do 512 bit encryption or even 1024 bit encryption, right? Microsoft का VPN gateway does not do that. Okay. Integrity, SHA-384, this is what is supported. And we tell them, generally they don't bother. They can adjust and they create tunnel regardless of their own specifications and their own standards, they will adjust. हम कह देते हैं we don't support this, right? If you need much more enterprise specs or something more, then you can get appliance from that vendor. For example, like Juniper or Cisco or whatever, FortiGate, right? To get a high-end encryption if you need that. But generally, I haven't had any customer who has bothered with this. Okay, generally it's more than sufficient. So we leave them default, and for our purposes, we'll leave them default. Okay, everything. DPD is dead peer detection. Usually have not never touched this one. And it has, it checks some heartbeat against the remote to check, right? If other guy is up or not and whatnot, right? But again, if you look at it, if you're creating generally, that's all you need to pre-shared key and make sure either default or make sure if they have something specific, go into custom and pick different ones, right? You will say, I have these 6, they can match. A lot of time we can go on a conference call and we do this online in 5-10 minutes. They match, make sure their policy is exactly as it is, right? We exchange the keys and then they say, okay, bring the tunnel up. Okay. I'll leave it default. Everything is fine. Pre-shared key, right? Tags. And this is what we do usually together, right? हमने अपनी तरफ से सारी चीजें सेट की. We say initiate connection. And the other guy sitting over there and say, okay, I'm initiating tunnel from my side. And we both do it together, right? We don't usually get मैंने अपना काम कर लिया, just waiting and sitting for them. Usually go on a conference call and say this, So this is what happens. मैं आपको right access दूंगा अपने gateway के ऊपर. So you can do the gateway, or maybe I'll do it myself. We'll see what is the best way, right? Maybe I'll give you right access, so you can create tunnels. Or give you access, you can create tunnels, right? Maybe I'll give you that much access. You can get a local network gateway in my resource group and create the tunnels, right? I will do this one. So then that's all there is needed to create the VPN tunnel, right? All you do is you create. And it goes and tries to bring the tunnel up, exchange the parameters. Of course, there's nothing on the other side. IP address is, so it gives that information. It's not able to bring or not reachable or whatever, right? But it takes some time for the tunnel to come up, few minutes. But you can check the status. Maybe connection initiate kar dega yahan pe, and we'll see that it goes pretty quickly. And then you can go in the dashboard and see if the tunnel is up or not. Okay. So I'll let it finish. So they get the same information and they store it in their VPN appliance. Okay. So whenever you're trying to create the VPN connection, both parties must have VPN appliance with the public IP. Pre-shared key needs to be there between both parties, exact key, and all the parameters must match. What we call phase 1 and phase 2 parameters, right? They must match. The three requirements are critical for the VPN connection to work, and this is how it is in the whole world, right? This is nothing special to Azure. Azure has just made it very, very easy to create these things, but the requirements are common across the world, across all VPN appliances.
So one side से बोले तब ठीक है तो बहुत अच्छा मेरा कनेक्शन बना
नहीं, it's not कि one side से हो रहा है. It is not trying to connect to the other side using the information local gateway. Public IP है उसके अंदर. अब if I go and say okay, I'm trying to create connection to you, it will first of all see, it'll try to bring that up also. Do I have a connection with this guy as well? If not, it will not just make the connection, right? So you will store the same information over there and say initiate connection, and then only then it will try to do that, right? That's why we do it together usually, right? Or you can do this and go on the other side and do that also. It'll keep on retrying over here, and then it'll create the connection once the other side is ready. Okay. So now you can see, I go back into. It is simply saying that I have set the configuration for the connection. Whether the tunnel is up or not, it has not verified that, right? And this is what we can check. Now I will go over here, or my VPN gateway के अंदर जाके, I can see connections, right? So status is unknown. Okay. If I go back into this one, now on this tunnel, status is unknown. A lot of time before even status changes, you will see the data in and out moving. That tells you there's a data exchange. Something must happen over here, right? So this is what we usually do. We refresh and try to figure out what is going on, right? But it will update the status. For example, ये भी थोड़ी देर के बाद one is times out or something, it'll give you, for example, maybe host reachable or remote site unreachable or something like that, right? But it takes few minutes for this to, for example, look at. But the best indicator is the moment आप connection करते हो सही होता है, you will see the bytes incrementing in and out. Okay? So you will do the same thing remotely on the remote sites, and you will see the connection coming up. And once you will see the bytes passing by, then that's all that is needed. Okay? ये थोड़ी देर के बाद status के साथ update हो गए, it'll move to something else, right? Not is just retrying. And इसके अंदर you can see also in the gateway and various different things. ये आपके logs हैं basically. You can check also, right? And do all the, इसके अगर मैं diagnostics on कर दूं, for example, let me see. यहाँ पे, for example, they did a lot of these things, right? VPN troubleshoot. You can go over here and ask what is happening with my VPN connection, right? So, for example, it can say, for example, let me see, this is this one, okay? This is the one I'm interested in. I can start troubleshooting on this one. So I'll try to do at the packet level and try to see what is happening. From the tunnel level, you can find out, right, what is happening. You can do connection packet capture as well to find out what is happening, right? ये Wireshark बड़ा common एक वो networking tool है that can look at the this packet capture and find out what is happening, right? And you can analyze the packets. ये इसके अंदर information is stored in a storage account. Let me see if we can do. वो कह रहे storage account बताओ. ये इसलिए बताना ज़रूरी होता है. It stores all the log files in the storage account, right? Once you're troubleshooting. So there are a lot of troubleshooting things that you can do. and you can do, for example, VPN troubleshoot, packet capture, various different things. Sometimes reset we do also. Sometimes it's stuck, it just kind of reboots the VPN gateway, right? And does that, right? So there are a lot of things are available, tools are available to figure this out. इसके अंदर भी before you open the support case, they have done this. For example, यहाँ पे support and troubleshooting. If you go back over here, right? So you can say, for example, ये देखो अब यहाँ पे उसने देख लिया उसके ऊपर वो कह रहा है this is the connection name, या मैंने वो उसका VM का नाम ले लिया. Is being affected by a resource health event. Status unavailable. The connection cannot be established because the other VPN site is unreachable. ठीक है, उसे already बता दिया यहाँ पे मुझे. Right? I cannot reach that. So it gives you a lot of information right over here. If the other side is unreachable or not responding to Azure VPN gateway IKE handshake, जो IKE parameters थे ना, जो 6 parameters थे, it is not responding. वो कह रहा है कि VPN connection cannot be established, right? वो कह रहा है first it must be reachable, then जो आपके जो phase 1, phase 2 के parameters हैं, they must match. Only then I will create the VPN connection. Okay? तो यहाँ पे it's telling you it's unreachable, which is perfectly fine, which is what we need, which we know is the issue, right? I'll go back into the, for example, overview. So right now, even though it is showing unknown, वहाँ पे ट्रबल शूटर के अंदर उसने बता दिया मुझे it is unreachable. उसके पास ज़्यादा granular status available है वहाँ पे, right? So you can check it from over there. Support and troubleshooting के अंदर. It can do lot of checks, lots and lots of checks it can do before you open a ticket to the support, right? तो जो चीज़ मैंने की अपनी तरफ से, they will do the same thing. वो मेरा IP address लेंगे, मेरा address space लेंगे, and they will also say start the connection, and the tunnel comes up. Once the tunnel comes up, it will act just like I have done peering. Both parties can reach each other, right? Unless there is a firewall in between that is controlling, or NSG, because it's network to network traffic. They have to allow my traffic, and if I have NSG, I have to make sure I'm allowing their traffic also, right? So again, इसके अंदर कंट्रोल करने के लिए ट्रैफिक, VPN ट्रैफिक को कंट्रोल करने के लिए I can have NSG, जो हमने पहले भी देखा हुआ है, because NSG अब मेरी जो सबनेट के ऊपर ट्रैफिक आनी, I can control कि वहां से आ सकती है कि नहीं रिमोट साइट से, and I can block that also, right? I can block remote traffic. गेटवे सबनेट मैंने आपको दिखा दिया ऑलरेडी, राइट? VPN गेटवे मैंने आपको दिखा दिया ऑलरेडी. ये SKUs हैं, right? Stock keeping units or the specific. So you can see कि 30 tunnels हैं up to VPN gateway 3. तो मैं अपनी तरफ बनाऊंगा VPN gateway 4 AZ. What is AZ? What is the? हाँ, मैंने बताया था लास्ट टाइम भी. मैंने आपको बताया इसके 2 वर्जन है. One is for the local availability on a single data center, and one is already replicating to the other data center. So if AZ version can survive a data center failure, a non-AZ version cannot survive a data center failure. Okay? Resizing is allowed within the generation. Gateway 1, 2 can go to 3 and 4 and like that. So I will create from my side this one, and you all will create the basic one. Basic खत्म करने मेरा ख्याल है वो, but I think you can use it for the time being. और यहाँ पे you can see the tunnels, right? So sorry, P2S, point to site connections. Okay, individual connections, how many it can handle, right? So generally for big organizations, it is not good. Even if you look at 10,000, what happens if you have more than 10,000 employees, they want to create VPN connection? We have more enterprise offering after this one, right? About the VPN gateway. And you can see also that as you increase the SKU, the throughput increases what they're giving you. Understand this is not just something very simple because every piece of traffic must be decrypted and encrypted. So it has to do a lot of work, right? So when they say you can handle, for example, this much traffic, it's all encrypted back and forth, right? So a lot of work these VPN gateways do. Besides providing resiliency in this connection, you have to encrypt, decrypt everything, right? They're saying its legacy should not be used. Maybe we'll just use the VPN gateway. Don't use the AZ version. Just use the basic VPN gateway one, okay? Leave the basic out also. I think it's $100, maybe $70, $80. Somebody can check the price of this one, how much it is. But again, if you use for 1 or 2 weeks, so it should not be. It should be manageable, okay? But only reach that point once you're ready, okay? Then create the VPN gateway. Okay, so this is what the different connectivity is and all that. मैंने अभी तक जो देखा generally everybody uses VPN gateway too. Usually it's more than sufficient from the क्योंकि ट्रैफिक की आपको कौन जरूरत पड़ती है. मैं अगर रिमोट साइट से मेरी 2-3 रिमोट साइट्स हैं, यूजली रिमोट साइट्स में कितनी बैंडविड्थ होती है इंटरनेट बैंडविड्थ. एक ऑफिस स्पेस आपका आपकी वो ऑफिस स्पेस है, डेटा सेंटर है, दैट हैज इंटरनेट बैंडविड्थ. It's not too much. 100, 200 data centers don't require that much internet bandwidth, right? तो उनके पास usually data centers के अंदर क्योंकि you are connecting to local services and all that. But regardless, 200-300 meg आपको दे देंगे for your connection. So usually 1.25 is more than sufficient for the VPN gateway, right? और उसके अंदर I mean 30 tunnels are more than sufficient. I have never seen anybody going outside of these bounds. Local
free services होती है VPN की. इन लोगों ने भी इसका पॉइंट टू उसके बढ़ाए होते हैं.
जी जी उन्होंने VPN गेटवे बनाया हुआ, पॉइंट टू साइट बनाया हुआ उन्होंने.
उनके पॉइंट टू साइट ज़्यादा होंगे क्योंकि उसके तो आम लोग भी कर रहे होते हैं.
हाँ उस पे यहाँ पे तो आपको I mean they're giving you lot of it's a complete service right. So over there it's they don't have that much quality of service. ये जो सर्विस है सर्फ शॉट मेरे पास है, इन्होंने VPN गेटवेज, इन्होंने एक लिनक्स की वर्चुअल मशीन चल रही है इनकी Azure या AWS के ऊपर, राइट. दैट्स ऑल देयर इज. उन्होंने नेटवर्क सेटअप किया, उन्होंने एक वर्चुअल मशीन बनाई है विच इज रनिंग द VPN सॉफ्टवेयर और एक फायरवॉल लगाई हुई है उन्होंने. वेरी मिनिमल सेटअप, राइट. सो दैट्स व्हाई एबल टू डू प्रोवाइड दिस VPN साइट्स ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. वो जितने डेटा सेंटर्स हैं AWS Azure के उसके ऊपर की VPN चल रही सर्विस और सेम सर्विस हर जगह चल रही है. दे हैव टू सिंक्रोनाइज यूजर ID पासवर्ड्स ताकि आप अगर आप USA UK वॉट एवर द वर्ल्ड सो जहाँ भी करें इट नोज योर यूजर ID पासवर्ड, राइट. वो सिंक्रोनाइज कर रहा होता है, वो क्या कहते हैं जब भी आप ID पासवर्ड क्रिएट करते हो. और बिसाइड्स दैट दिस इज व्हाट्स हैपनिंग बेसिकली, राइट. Create the local network gateway. It reflects the on-premises network configuration. And it's not just on-premises, it's the remote, wherever it is. It could be Azure VPN gateway, which we'll do on our thing. And you can do the same thing, right? आपको जो है ना router, उसके अंदर you can see if you have a VPN software, you can connect with your Azure VPN gateway. Do that, right? It's a very good exercise. आपको जो उसके साथ जो भी आपका फाइबर कनेक्शन है या DSL कनेक्शन है, whatever it is, right? Lot of these routers have VPN software in it, VPN servers, and you can connect that with Azure directly. That's a very good exercise. तो घर में अपने यहीं से बैठ के आप local IP address डालोगे Azure की VM का, and you can open that VM up right from this one, right? It gives you very nice way you can connect your home directly with Azure, right? So very good exercise. Do that. I'll actually make this as a part of extra credit for you guys to do that. Let's see. On-premises VPN device, you can check. Shared key मैंने आपको बता दिया. IP address of the local VPN gateway. Let me just create the VPN connection. मैंने आपको बता दिया. Already you pick this one. Shared key. कितना टाइम है बस खत्म हो गया टाइम. Let me see what else is there. आखिरी चीज है. Let's just finish this one. ये जो मैंने एक चीज ऑफ की थी दैट वाज हाई अवेलेबिलिटी, उसमें दो आईपी एड्रेसेस आपको दे रहा था जो मैंने किए मैं अपने इसके अंदर, राइट. इट अलाउज यू टू मेक टू टनल्स. अगर आपकी ऑन प्रेमिसेस भी दो डिवाइसेस है ना, यू कैन मेक कनेक्शंस. इफ वन थिंग गोज डाउन, second tunnel is up already, right? You can have high availability, but you pay also more, that it charges you more, but you can do this one. And some companies do this also. This is a very common configuration also. क्या active mode के अंदर you're running. Okay, both nodes, both VPN gateways are active. You can do this one. Yeah? I will probably remove this part. This is advanced networking and advanced appliances. I'll give you a high level idea maybe next time. But for right now, for your PA, I'll stop over here and I will postpone this part. I'll separate from this slide deck, express route and virtual WAN, okay? Whole world is using virtual WAN now, but I'll skip it. It's pretty much same thing. So next we'll cover DNS. You will use that in your PA.